Hello everyone, Pineapple here with something different from the norm. With our foray into the independent animation circuit, we can look at something that is also an experimentation in animation. Pokémon Concierge is the newest Pokémon spin-off series. A 4-episode miniseries that stands out among the other Pokémon series, being made in the ever-creative style of stop-motion animation. While not seeming to be claymation, as I believe the most generally popular stop-motion productions are, most coming from Aardman Productions, this is more among the style of what aren't really puppets, but I can't really define it properly. Rigged stop-motion is probably a better term. The Pokémon are little furry puppets, and the human characters seem to be rigged, one giving me feelings that relate a lot to the humans in Coraline.
She's a peach, she's a doll, she's a pal of mine.
Before we get into the actual show, let's talk about these designs by touching on the characters, starting with our 4 main humans. Haru is our main character, played by Karen Fukuhara, known for her live-action acting, but also has been in a few anime in the recent years. Haru is probably one of the best designed human characters. Her skinniness and giraffe-ish neck are over-exaggerated aspects of a design that breach cartoony while still looking consistently relatable as a human being, adding personality to her but not making her look like the beldam. Her awkwardness can get a bit grating at times for someone like me who has problems with secondhand embarrassment on the screen, but she is consistently relatable and enjoyable for the audience to be around, with her positivity and drive to excel. She has come to the Pokémon Resort for a summer job, and her boss is probably the worst designed human, the one reminding me of how Coraline designed their characters. Watanabe, played by Laurie Allen, known for playing Pearl in SpongeBob SquarePants. She doesn't have a big role and doesn't do much to be hated or really liked, but like I said, her design occasionally wigs me out compared to the others. The only male main character is Tyler, played by Josh Keaton, well known as the Spectacular Spider-Man, and doesn't look like a Coraline character, but more like someone I would expect to see in Little King's Story. 10 out of 10 game, by the way. Tyler is a fine character, and does well in his interactions with Haru, but doesn't really have much going for him on his own. Pretty much just being a blissfully happy himbo the whole time. Lastly of the main human cast is Woman of Action Alyssa, played by Imani Hakim. Not well known for voice acting, but has been in a few TV shows and movies since 2006. Much like Tyler, she has a personality that doesn't really deviate, but I have to admit she looks more pleasant than him, and seems to be a bit more of an active participant, helping Haru and being generally active throughout the show. Now let's talk about the Pokémon in general. These little guys are the fucking cutest. Seriously. The texture, the scale, and the unique way they apply movement to different species of Pokémon is very well done, and I'd love to see more Pokémon in this style. The only issue I have is seeing a hairy Diglett. Like, what the fuck, no man. It just feels wrong. The skin instead of fur is also done well, like on the water Pokémons such as ever-adorable Wooper, Mudkip, and Magikarp. We also get good yellow representation. Psyduck is animated perfectly, and the Pikachus on the final episode are just as cute as they ought to be, even voiced by Ash's Pikachu herself from the 1997 show, Ikue Otani. Now let's talk about the episodes. The first episode is I'm Haru, the new concierge, and is mostly our interaction to the characters and themes of the show. We see Haru's life fall apart around her, in big and small ways, deciding to take a summer job at the Pokémon Resort. And not only are the impressive visuals seen from the start, with the background and set, but look at this Bulbasaur, adorable. She meets Watanabe and is instructed that her first day be experiencing the resort as a guest, to learn her way around. Haru is going to be the Pokémon Concierge, as the title says, and she is supposed to go around and help the Pokémon and guests with their everyday concerns, making sure they're all happy. Watanabe displaying this by stopping an adorable ferret from chasing a Rattata, and bringing it somewhere with more room to play around. Haru goes to see Tyler and his starter-coded monkeys, attempting to recreate one of GTA 5's worst missions.
Sometimes when I do this pose, I weep uncontrollably for hours.
And we get this unfortunately bad shot of Haru in the water. Even though the water effect can be good, I suppose this animation had to have failings somewhere. Haru sees a Psyduck and makes her way to see Alyssa and her Mudkip, who, with the help of a Dragonite, gives Pokemon flights. Alyssa takes Haru to get a new style, like this Eevee, and fleshes out some more of the small details of the park and her impressive looking lunch. She naps and wakes to see Psyduck again before getting a massage while making herself a relatable mess, finishing the day. She tries to do better by giving Watanabe a presentation, but all she wanted was for Haru to enjoy herself and bring that joy to others. Evidence of the tone being pretty lighthearted as this through the whole show. And Haru is tasked with finding a Pokemon of her own to assist ending the episode, as she sees Psyduck again. Episode 2 is What's on Your Mind, Psyduck? And only now am I realising, now that I've written some reviews for One Piece, is that for a lot of these Japanese kind of anime shows, why are the titles for the episodes just sentences? Like with full punctuation, commas, question marks, exclamation points. A lot of them are just one or multiple sentences. It's kind of weird when American shows, like Buffy for example, have a lot of simple or one-word titles. Haru continues to try and do good, but fails miserably. Tyler and Alyssa watching like it were a train wreck, hoping she'll adjust soon enough. Haru enlists Alyssa's help as she draws this Pikachu. Then she goes to Tyler for help and learns that Psyduck has been running around for 2 weeks, too shy to meet anyone. Haru doing the Pokemon thing and vowing to help him.
Right then. Psyduck, I choose you!
She learns that Psyduck have mental powers, and get frequent headaches when they store too much power, causing their power to act up. She chases the Psyduck, but thanks to Tyler and Hairy Diglett, she ends up crashing. Eventually she finds him and ends up making a connection with him, figuring out if they use his powers every now and then, they won't build up and become unmanageable. And the scenes where he does this are pretty fun, sometimes with unintended consequences. But look at him, he's trying his best, he's just a little duck boy. They have some ice cream, and Psyduck decides to stay with Haru, ending this first bit of the story on a wish Haru makes, wanting to have fun with Pokemon the next day too, just like many coma theorists would have you believe about the original show when Ho-Oh appears. Episode 3 is I Hope I Can Evolve Too. And you'll notice that now the introductory arc is done, these next 2 episodes are one-off stories, much like you would expect a longer TV show to do, which kind of makes this feel weird. This series is 4 episodes long, there's no real overarching narrative, so the first 2 are basically a 2-parter, or at least episode 3 and 4 are more clear in their standalone nature, making the pacing feel weird, like it's setting up for a basic serialized format with one-off episodes with a through line, maybe with a 2-parter to start or to end, and maybe a few in the middle, but the way this run is paced makes it feel like half a show, even if the note that episode 4 ends on is sufficiently lighthearted and hopeful. Now that we're done with that tangent, we get some good moments with Alyssa, and then Haru meets a Magikarp with a star-shaped birthmark kind of deal. But unlike the others, it can't swim and uses a floaty to enjoy itself, but the floaty is taken, allowing some more Pokemon models to be shown off and a fun chase. But it gets destroyed, and as Haru kindly makes a new one, Magikarp evolves and doesn't need it. So, was this episode just an excuse for Haru to funnily say the title of the episode? Don't get me wrong, this episode is fun and ends happy, but the episodic nature doesn't lend itself well to the story. The final episode of the run is Welcome to the Pokemon Resort, which is strange considering this is the final episode. And what better to end a Pokemon series on but copious amounts of Pikachus. I like how even in-universe everyone seems to fawn over Pikachus, many appearing at the park at the same time. I suppose Ash's adventures have popularised owning Pikachus. It even seems a little like the people at the hotel know how oversaturated the Pikachu market is. Haru meets a small boy and his shy Pikachu, so Haru decides to help now and his yellow rat become more outgoing together. And can we just commend the animators for making this Pikachu so cute? That's a lot of effort to put into making something already cute so much cuter. even more so than having it voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
Well, I didn't show up at school, because Detective Pikachu, he doesn't know who those two little girls are.
They're our daughters.
So they try a few things, Psyduck probably having the most fun, becoming a gymnast, but Pikachu is too scared to act. We get some nice examples of similar problems they've faced, and the resolution they find is really quite nice. Pikachu growing close to Psyduck, and then following Haru and Psyduck as they ride down the grassy hill, doing the same with Now. The next day they leave, and Pikachu finally learns to speak up for itself, screaming from the boat to the shore, and Haru returns the favour. And so the series ends with a nice little extra clip at the end. It's a good ending for the episode, but falls flat as an end to a season. I get it's no series arc finale or something of the like, but still feels a little underwhelming. So now come the ratings, and much like my other anime reviews, we can start with the Best Boy and Best Girl awards. Haru obviously takes the Best Girl spot, most of the time being relatively awkward, but is still a fun main character when in those little moments her personality traits get a little frustrating. Best Boy? Well, the only overt male characters are Now and Tyler, and both are a bit one note, so I'll assume Psyduck's gender and put him here. The series doesn't really have an opening, but we do get an ending theme called Kimi no Ibasho, or Have a Good Time Here, by Maria Takeuchi, and fits the vibe pretty well, but isn't the greatest or most creative song I've heard, and I don't think it has consistent or striking visuals. A good 5 out of 10. Finally, this series was creative, but short-lived, not allowing a lot of the characters more than one note, and making the pacing feel stilted. But Haru was a nice main character, and all the Pokemon, while not doing a lot, are designed with a lot of care and attention to detail. This is just a little bit of fun. Not that much for someone like me, but is nice in principle for what it is. And if it sounds like your deal, I'd recommend it a lot, and whatever sequel they give this if it reaches the right amount of popularity they're looking for. But I'm sure you'll still get something out of this show, even if you're just there to look at the cute Pokemon. I'll give Pokemon Concierge a fine 5.5 out of 10. Thank you everybody so much for watching my review of the Pokemon Concierge. Please like the video if you liked it, comment down below if you wish, and consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do, ring that notification bell so you're told every single time that I make an upload. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Toast. A little piece of toast. Because there's so much to choose from. There's brown bread, white bread, all sorts of wholemeal bread. It comes in funny packages with writing on the side.